Welcome to GKey Solutions Private Limited.
SQL Server Integration Services, classes and real-time interview questions and answers. Part 25. What is slowly changing dimension transformation in SSIS? In this part of training, we are going to discuss about what is slowly changing dimension transformation in SSIS. In SSIS, that is SQL Server Integration Services, a slowly changing dimension transformation is a data flow component used to handle changes in dimension data over time when loading data warehouse. Dimensions are called slowly changing because their attributes like name, address, designation change infrequently compared to the fact data. The SCD transformation lets you manage these changes systematically to maintain historical accuracy or overwrite values as needed. The purpose of this transformation is to detect changes in source compared to existing dimension table, apply different rules depending on the type of attribute like fixed, changing and historical, ensure the dimension table stays accurate, optionally keeps history of the changes. There are three types of slowly changing dimensions used for incremental data load. First one is type 0, which is called fixed attribute. Here, no changes are allowed. The value never changes after initial load. SSIS ignores updates for these columns. Coming to type 1, it is changing attribute. It overwrites old data with a new value. No history maintained. SSIS performs an update on the existing record. Coming to third one, that is type 2. It is called historical attribute. Here it keeps full history, adds a new record for every change, marking the old one as inactive. SSIS inserts a new row and updates status of the old row. Here we can use start date and end date columns to keep track of the different history. Let us see these things practically in SSIS. We are in SSIS. I am trying to create a package. I am renaming it as SCD transformation. To work with SCD transformation, we have to take data flow task. Here, we have to check what are the different source and target tables. Here I have created a source table that is called EMP source with 5 columns data, like 5 rows of data. Here we are having employee ID, first name, last name and designation of the columns in it. And I'm creating like dimension table here, which is having ID as identity property, employee ID, first name, last name, designation and start date and end date are the new columns which are available here. Let us select the data here. Now I have data in EMP source with the 5 records and the EMP dimension, there is no data in the dimension in the initial stages. Let us check how the data is going to be changed in the changing dimension. Now we have to configure the source first. For that I am taking OLEDB source. Why? Because our source table also in the database, that is SQL Server database. Here I am connecting to this database and the table is like EMP source is the table. I am taking this table. If you preview the data, these are the 5 records which are available in the source table, that is EMP underscore source table. Now I am trying to take the slowly changing dimension transformation and trying to configure it. I'm connecting the source to slowly changing dimension transformation, and here what I'm going to do is, what is the dimension table that we have to take? EMP underscore dimension is the dimension table, and here we have to mention the business key. Employee ID is the business key here. By clicking on the next thing, here we'll be having different options. First, we will fix the fixed attribute. First name is the fixed attribute, and second one is last name is the changing attribute, and designation is the historical attribute. Why? Because first, if you change the first name also, it has to be fixed. Last name is like a changing attribute. It have to overwrite the previous one, and designation is the historical attribute. One employee can have many designations. Those designations have to be tracked and maintain the history. And next, fail the transaction if changes are detected in the fixed attribute. If there are any changes detected in the fixed attribute, that the transformation or the package has to be failed. And next, use start and end dates. I'm taking start date and end date here. Variable to set is, I'm just taking the variable as start time. And here, I'm just disabling it. No need of this option here. And finish. Now, this slowly changing dimension transformation has configured itself by taking the options that we have given. We try to modify the things here. Now, the source table is having these many records and there is no records. First, we'll try to run this package for the initial run. The package got executed successfully. Now check the data in the target. I'm executing these two queries. Here, the data from the source to the destination has been loaded. This is called full load. Why? Because there is no data in the dimension table in the beginning stages. Source data has been dumped to the dimension table with the start date and end date. There is no end date. Why? Because no record has been modified yet. Now let us check the conditions one by one. These are the different things I have with me. SID type 1, which is changing attribute. I am trying to change the employee ID 204. For example, employee ID 204 Anjali, and last name is the changing attribute that we have given to the slowly changing dimension transformation. Here instead of Sharma, I am updating it to Mehta. And it got updated. Now what I have to do in place of Sharma, these things have to be updated. In place of Sharma, Anjali Sharma, the name has been updated to Mehta. Now this thing has to be reflected in the dimension table when you run the package. I am trying to run the package again. The second name has to be overwrite in the destination table. The package got executed successfully. Now I am trying to select these two things. Here Anjali Verma has replaced with Mehta. It did not create a new record. Here it overwrite the already existing last name. And let us try to examine the second scenario, that is SID type 2 historical attribute. It has to maintain the new record by using this thing. Here what I am trying to do is for 201 employee, that is employee 201 Sneha, we are updating designation from DBA to senior DBA. This is what we are trying to do here. I am trying to execute this one. It has executed successfully. Now check the data, and for 201 senior DB has been modified. Now it has to modify the data and it has to give the end date for this record and it has to create the new record. That is the historical data maintenance. Let us check by running the package now. I am trying to run this package again. Package ran successfully. I am trying to check the data now. See, now senior DB, for this record like 201, there is a previous record which has been ended with end date and new record has been created with the same employee ID and the designation changed. In this way, it has maintained the history. For this, we are having two records. The last record, which is the active record, and previous one, it has closed with the end date. And third scenario is like we are going to check the fixed attribute. SCD fixed attribute we are trying to check here. We are trying to update the first name, like for 202 as Amit. I'm executing it. The query got executed. Here Amit has been updated. What is the thing we have updated here? first name is Amit for 202. For 202, for David, we have updated to Amit. Let us check the data. Now it has updated to Amit. As per the logic of SED type 2, we have fixed the first name as fixed attribute. It should not change. That means the package have to be failed. Let us try to run the package again. The package got failed. Why? Because we fixed this attribute here. This should not reflect in the dimension table. Even though it is not reflecting in the dimension table, if you want to run the package, there is an option that we can disable and it is going to load the data, but it will not reflect the changes. Here fail the component, the fixed attribute thing is, if you disable this one, we can run the package, but it will not reflect in the target table. Now let us try to run the package. Package ran successfully. Let us check the data. In this scenario, package get ran successful, but we have to replace 202 David with Amit. It should not happen. That is the main thing. Why? Because it is a fixed attribute. See, Amit is not, David is not changed to Amit. In such a way, we can use SED type like SED transformation, like slowly changing dimension transformation, to have fixed attribute and changing attribute, historical attribute. In such a way, we can maintain the data in the dimension table by using the source data. In this way, dimension tables are going to be incrementally loaded based on the requirement that we have given in the SED transformation. This is about SED transformation. I think you got some idea about the initial load, incremental loads by using SED 0, SED 1, SED type 2 functionalities, which are used fixed, historical and changing attributes. Thank you.
Stay connected with GKey IT solutions on all your favorite platforms. Follow us on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram and Facebook. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to stay updated with all our latest content. Join the GKey community and grow your IT career with us.